Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
What is Path of the Pale Rider anyway? Is it a comic book? No, that's not it. Is it this? What the heck is Path of the Pale Rider, man? There's no way this is right. How about this? I have no idea.
We can rob a bank.
Oh, it's this.
The Madness Comic Network and Comic Related Madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt on YouTube.
Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday. I hope you brought your coffee. I'm ready to get this show started. And you all know that I love giving updates about Path of the Pale Rider right in the beginning. And you can see my backdrop is not up. What does that mean? It means I have something to show ya. We are all familiar with the lovely Jude Sinclair Funko Pop. Yes. Well, last week, Wednesday, so right after the show, I received the new shipment of Funko Pops for our latest campaign. If you all are not familiar with the big Jameses that everybody is getting, look at this. He's got a bobblehead. Shout out to Unique Concept Studio who makes these. They do a phenomenal job. Look at the amount of detail on this sucker. Mine is a special edition because they love me and I love them. It's mutual. But his scars, let me stop his head. His scars are in gold and he's flocked, Flocked, which means he's furry. That is the coolest thing. I love him. Everybody else is getting the two-piece one with the magnetic head. He's so giant. Have you seen the box for him compared to, like, here's the Jude Sinclair box, right? Look at this. Here's the big James box. Considerably bigger. But look at the detail they have on these where it's like you got the face. On the side, you have the character. I love how on the back they put the cover that this corresponds to. So this one was the first campaign we did. It has cover of 1. This has cover of 2, right? And it's just, these are amazing. They do such a great job. I can't even say enough about these guys. So you got to see the big James and you got to see the Jude Sinclair, but the newest edition is here. And this is Dwayne Fink, our lovable drunk who loves to spout nonsense, or is it? And I love how they included his empty beer mug. And if you look ever so slightly, his disc is there, right behind his duster. He's got scabby knees because, of course, Dwayne Fink is wearing rags. He just looks amazing. Amazing. So now I have 3 Funko Pops of my characters, and I'm very excited. Like, here's his box. Same thing. It has all the cool stuff. He's number 3. And then, of course, Marco DeFillo's cover. And they keep adding the look 1, 2, 3. So I love these. These always come out amazing. And I just had to share with you guys. Matt Chambers, our new colorist, is, I think, 3 pages from being complete. And then the project goes to our editor, Rachel, and she's going to tear it to shreds because that's her job. We want it to be the best version of itself. And then after that, if we fix all the mistakes, then it goes to print. So we're almost there. I'm so thankful that you guys are patient. It just always seems that the best laid plans are always the ones that fall through. Marco and I always hit our deadline. What can I say? So we're just happy that Matt is part of the team. He seems to really enjoy being a part of Path of the Pale Rider. And as we can see, he loves coloring pages and turning them in and getting the project done. So we're hoping that will stay with us, and that maybe issue number 4 will go smooth. And then I don't know, I might die after that. So we'll see. It's like as soon as things go your way, you get knocked off this planet. So fingers crossed I don't die. So our guest today, you have all seen before. His name is Wells Thompson. I would say your guest of the special guest, a friend of the show. I don't know. You got one more. 3 makes you friend of the show, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Wells, and everybody can reacclimate themselves. That's not a thing, is it? I need to drink more coffee this morning or something.
Really?
Well, help me here. So everybody, welcome back, Wells Thompson. Yay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. I'm excited to have you here and returning to the show. That means that you definitely had a good time last time.
Yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm barely awake right now, but I am having a good time overall.
This is also usually my story. It's 10 o'clock here in Texas, so I usually am awake and have had at least 1 cup of coffee.
I'm in Illinois. I just stay up way too late.
Quiet, Siri. But I mean, at least at this point, we're semi-awake. But
yeah.
I've done earlier shows. I've done really late shows. This seems to be a good time. People are mostly awake, so we can have a good time. Why don't you remind everybody that's watching who you are and what you do, and
Right.
We can go from there.
Yeah, my name is Wells Thompson. I am a comic book writer mostly. I also write short stories and novels, but those aren't widely available for the most part. And general coffee and tea enjoyer, and cat rescuer and bartender.
I like it. So you're pretty well-rounded,
I would say. I have written several comic books. The most well-known, I guess, would be Mechaton and Frankenstein the Unconquered, both of which are fairly successful Kickstarter series. And I'm currently running a project for a new graphic novella one-shot called The Catskin and the Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is interesting to me because typically writers will work with one specific team, right? They have, like me, I have my artist. Like we're just pumping out Path of the Pale Rider as quick as we can. But you, sir, you have all these different scripts that you're developing and rotating through on Kickstarter, and you have different artist teams. That's it's ambitious. That seems ambitious to me because I don't think I could handle it, but you seem to handle it quite well. What's, your process for that? How do you choose which to rotate next? Or like when you're done with this one, are you bringing in a new script? Like what's your process?
I mean, a lot of it is that, artists need time to draw things. And if you ask them to draw 3 things at the same time, they start to short circuit, which is completely understandable. I'm sure Fernando would love to draw 8 different projects, but he only has 2 hands. So,
right.
It's basically, we've got, we put in Mechaton, and then while that's being drawn, we'll put out Frankenstein, or the campaign for Frankenstein. And then, while both of those are being worked on, we'll try and throw in something else, a one-shot or a new idea. That way, we're just giving people time to kind of rotate out what they do, so that you don't have, no one is like waiting on the next thing. As soon as we can work on something, we try to start to as soon as we can. And this is just kind of the rhythm that we've found. Obviously, this is year 3, and really, if we're being honest, it's year 2 of being like really serious about putting them out, because the first year we only put out 1 Kickstarter. So so trying to find that rhythm has been a big challenge. But then the other part is just, I love collaboration. I love working with people. I love seeing what people's like different viewpoints will come out if I bring stories to different artists and people from different backgrounds. it's always just so much fun to sort of get, these sort of creatively disparate elements together and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the biggest joys I have of this comic creation process is to see my characters on a page, like interacting with the other characters. Yeah, I see it in my head, but getting different, like variant artists and people involved to see how they see my story. I get a kick out of that every time, seeing, new creation of my work. So I think that's awesome that you have all these different scripts and all these different artists involved. They're all very good too. How do you find it? You have just a list of artists. You're like, hey.
Well, social media has been very helpful in finding really talented artists. Rip Twitter. I'm hoping that we can find a suitable replacement for that one.
Yeah,
it's getting harder and harder. It's getting harder and harder to reach out to like connect with people, and fewer people are willing to actually post on there. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but historically that's been the best place to find. That's where we found Fernando. He was originally looking for cover work, and we approached him about Mechaton, and he was really excited about it. And so obviously that partnership was formed. The artists for Frankenstein the Unconquered, same thing, was just looking through people's profiles and trying to find the style that we wanted for the book. And yeah, this for the Catskin and the Rose, I reached out to Rachel over DMs. The first time it was for a fan comic for Arcane, if you're familiar with that show. And then as I had the idea for the script, I was like, she would be really good for that. So it's just sort of, finding people that you want to work with, finding excuses to work with them, and then, developing those relationships so that when you do have a really big project, they don't go, I don't know you. And also, no, that sounds miserable. I don't know why anyone would sign up for like, oh yeah, no, I'll draw hundreds of pages of comic for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? They get paid for it.
I mean, yeah, but it's still like, it's a big commitment, and I don't blame anyone.
It is. And you know what? When I was shopping around my script, that was one of the determining factors where people were not choosing me. Was like, how many issues is this? I was like, well, I have about 20. And they're like, it's too long. I don't want to know. Because a lot of artists are like, they want to be creative and they want to show off their skill, and like 3 issues and I'm done. I want to do something different.
Right.
And I was like, why is it's job security in my mind. Like, I'm going to continue to pay you to turn out art. And if you read the script, it goes to a lot of places, but in their mind, it's like, I don't want to be stifled creatively. For sure. So that's where a lot of pushback comes sometimes. Yeah. So it's like hundreds of pages and they're like, no, thank you.
Yeah. And
like,
it's also, that's the other thing is like, yes, it's theoretically security, but if you don't know the person very well, you don't know their reputation very well, then that's a lot of trust you're putting into.
There's so much trust when you're building these relationships, right? Because it's like, it goes both ways. I've had artists that have disappeared in the middle of projects and I can't use any of their work, and I've put out money. And artists have had the same thing where it's like, depends on how their contract is set up, where either they get paid upfront, like partial upfront, and the rest at the end. And then they get to the end and then the paycheck stops. Like, there's just a lot of trust both ways, So, but I think that once we find those good people, it's great, and you got to hang on to them as long as you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scariest thing to me is when like artists get big enough and then they're like, I'm going to Marvel, or I'm going to DC, and I'm going to here, and you're like, okay, I get to start over.
I think a lot of people in that, like the more I've done this, the more I've realized that people in that position generally do remember their roots, and they are willing to do more indie projects for more reasonable rates than you might expect. I always encourage people like, oh, you want to work with such and such, reach out. Who knows? you might catch them at a good time. Generally people are, especially for like cover work, people are always willing to carve out a couple of days to work on something really cool.
I agree. like cover art is kind of a great place to get someone involved because it's like, oh, it's a one page. It can be really awesome. And then it's just like they can move on back to their own project and they don't have to commit too much time. But at least, I don't know. There's so many Marvel and DC artists that are now back in indie where it's like, go there and get it on your resume and then come back out. I don't know. Not being an artist, I can't really speak to that, so I'm just.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of like, it's a good paycheck, but there's also a lot of like editorial oversight at Marvel and DC. So I imagine it's an environment where you stay there for a few years and then you realize I have a lot of ideas that I would like to work on that are my own, and this isn't really a place that's going to facilitate that. So, everyone gets into this because they love comics and they love being creative and they have their own stories to tell. So, as great as it is that we have places to go that will pay really good money for talented artists, I know that for every talented artist, there's like a million things they want to be drawing, and you can only get to one or two at a time.
Well, and I just think that we're lucky that we're in the day and age where there are places like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Crowdfunder, Fund My Comic, where we as the creators don't need to be a part of Marvel DC Image in order to get our comic in people's hands. I think it's awesome that we can self-publish and that your story can get out there and start getting a following before even, one of those big guys get involved. It's a great place. You have 347 backers on your current project.
Yeah, that is exciting.
That's great. Yeah. I would love to be able to get 347 backers on my project. But that's my point is like, where's Marvel? Where's DC? Where's Image? This is all you and your team. And you're still able to reach hundreds of people with your story, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting in a couple of ways. For one, like it's very empowering that the little guy can go out and reach what is ultimately not a lot of people, and sort of create these massive projects and build something really interesting and cool. And at the same time, it's sort of like, imagine what we could do if, we had just a little bit, more eyes on this space, because, the most wildly successful indie comic on Kickstarter right now has like, 1,000 backers. Which is at the same time like a lot, but in terms of like publishing distribution is kind of very little.
Right.
If you like had a book published through Penguin Random House or something like that, and they were like, you sold 1,000 copies. It's like, that is horrifying disappointing. Like that is not, that is like not a good
5,000, 10,000. Right.
Yeah, you want to be in like the tens,
like
hundreds
20 minutes
of
your
thousands.
foot in the door.
Yeah,
like,
so it's both where I'm like, there has to be a greater market out there for
there is. And dude, if you figure out how to get to the bigger audience, please come back on the show and share it with your indie people, because we are all in that same mind frame as how do I get to that bigger audience?
Yeah, for sure. No, and I don't mean to structure that as a complaint at all. Like I think it's really interesting.
No, we're all thinking the same thing. Like, this is really cool that I'm able to do this. However, I aspire to do this.
Absolutely. And then again, like we have 350 people backing the project right now, which is phenomenal, and we're on pace to have our most popular project ever.
That's awesome.
But again, relatively very few people are bringing this to life, which is it tells you something about the collective ability of people to really have influence on a project. It's one of the reasons I love Kickstarter so much, because if you're buying a New York Times best-selling book, first of all, like how much of the $17 that you spent on that paperback is going to make it back to the author? Maybe $2-3. Maybe.
That's my guess too.
Whereas you go through Kickstarter and the margin between or between being the 99th and 100th person is a lot more significant than being the 1 millionth and 1 millionth and first person to buy a book. So you have a lot more individual impact, and you know where all your money is going, straight to the creators, which is really cool. I love that we have that system. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a lot of, what people are concerned about these days is like, even when they're contributing to charity, it's like how much of my dollar is actually going to help people and how much is being in processing and bureaucracy and blah, blah. So that's another reason why crowdfunding is so great, is because, yeah, we understand there's credit card fees and there's shipping and Kickstarter takes a chunk. But other than that, like the rest of the funds come to us and we divvy it up between the team, and you get a project directly from our brains in our hands and everything. I package all my stuff myself. I don't know.
Oh yeah, me too.
You do? I'm one of those weird ones who actually enjoy it.
I've got my label printer on my desk at all times. I've got these guys that these ones I'm hand delivering, but I have a bunch of Gemini mailers in the basement and the tape and like a whole workshop set up for when I'm doing fulfillment. I just shipped off like 110 packages yesterday.
Awesome.
So yeah, I wouldn't say I like love it. It's definitely hard work. But having that physical sort of end piece, you get to tie everything up in a bow when you finish out a campaign is really rewarding and fulfilling. Plus, you get to add personal touches. You get to make sure every order is correct.
Right.
Put in notes if you want to when you see repeat, customers and people. You've done a number of campaigns. You've definitely gone through and been like, oh, I remember you. You've backed the last couple of campaigns. So you see a bunch of the same names coming up over and over again, and it's really nice to kind of build out that community in a very personal, physical way. Agreed.
And I always put something personal in there. Like I spend the time to craft like some really nifty thank you notes, and I will give them. I think everybody who spends $50 or above gets a thank you note personalized for me, but I also will make extra, and I'll put them in random, where I'll be like, oh, I was on this podcast and this guy was really cool, sending him, like, oh, this person's new and I haven't seen them before, put it in there. So I'll just kind of like pick and choose random, to give out extra things. And I think it's a lot of fun. Hopefully people appreciate it. I like giving out things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those personal touches absolutely matter. Unfortunately, I don't always get the chance to do it. Sometimes I'm, if we're running behind on a project, I feel like I'm in crunch and I have to put everything out, immediately.
Well, you're running like 3 projects at the same time. So
yeah, well, I think
where I'm like, oh, I could make thank you cards because
I've always said there are 5 projects at a time that I'm working on. There's the one that I'm like currently fulfilling. There's the one that like just finished. There's the one that's like currently in progress. There's the one that I'm doing next, and there's the one that I'm planning for the next one out.
So how far out on your calendar do you plan these? Like, are they set?
I actually just got off a phone call with Dalton, my co-writer and frequent collaborator, yesterday about sort of the structure of next year and how we were going to space out those which books we were going to work on, how we were going to space them out, how we were going to tackle changing trends and how we were and what we were going to do about the newsletter and social media and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're planning these things out well in advance.
Wow. See, because my girlfriend Carissa, she does the same thing, where she will plan out like 3 different campaigns, and she'd be like, okay, I'm launching in this month, and this month. And then there's me, who she's like, when's your next campaign coming? I'm like, in the fall. She's like, but when? And I'm like, I don't know.
Sometime, I don't know.
Like, whenever we're done. It's like, because with my last one, we had a printer issue, and it's like I had planned out the entire year, and then everything went to crap anyway because the schedule fell apart. So it's like now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, I want to make sure everything goes smoothly before I plan the next one. So, but kudos to you guys who are like, all right, we're going to tackle this on February, April, June, and, October. And you can actually do it. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like that someday.
It just takes planning and giving up on having anything like,
social life.
Well, I was going to say a vacation, like vacations or any kind of like, sense of rest. If you're willing to just push yourself all the time and never stop, it's fine. It's fine.
I only laugh because I know
be fine.
I know you're doing these shows, and it's like one of the most important thing you can do whenever you're in a campaign is to get, the word out that the campaign is live. So I was like, oh, you're doing another one. Oh, you're doing another one. You ever stop doing shows, or you're just rotate? You're like, all right, I'll do these ones next.
Yeah, it's again, it's just like collaborating with artists. It's building relationships with people that are good to put out the word with, and learning what shows you like to be on. And so yeah, every campaign we try and find new shows as well as hone our relationship with ones that we've already been on before, like I'm doing now. Hi, Laurie.
Right. I was like, right, come on back on, hang out with Laurie, drink some coffee, we'll talk about comics.
Absolutely.
So how many books do you put out a year? Because you said 5 projects, but how often do you rotate through those 5? Is it twice? So you're putting out 5 a year? Or are you putting out 10 a year?
Last year we put out 4 books. We put out Mechaton 2 and 3 and Frankenstein 1 and 2. And this year we did 1 campaign for Mechaton 3 and 4. We did 1 for Depths, which is a project that unfortunately didn't make its funding goal. We're going back to try and do that again at the end of the year, try and get that made. We're doing this one right now. We've got Frankenstein the Unconquered, our other series that we're doing issues 3 and 4 of. So we're trying to include more while also be putting out more books of the individual things. So like we're trying to speed up production so that we're getting out more of the books at a time while also focusing on other projects.
Gotcha.
So this year, I think we'll put out 4 single issues, a graphic novella, and hopefully the first half of a graphic novel if in the late fall Depths winds up being successful. So that's where we're at right now.
That one was such a gorgeous book. I really hope you guys do that one again. I back that.
I'll let you know when it comes back up. Don't worry.
Yeah, because that one was really interesting to me, and it was such a story that really could touch everybody. I really think it has legs to go somewhere. So I'd like to see that. This one looks amazing too. Let me show people what, kind of what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Catskin and the Rose.
Yes.
And this looks beautiful. You already got that project we love. Your page looks amazing. Look at this, people. I love how it just flips back and forth. I want to pick how did you do this?
It's just a GIF. It's just
right,
how exactly it's done. I don't quite understand. A wizard did it is always my go-to. But in fairness, I do know the wizard. Her name is Brenda Snell. She's my designer, and I owe her my life. She is fantastic.
I was like, because this is what I want to do, to have it cycle through art for like previous issues. Because a lot of us are on like issue 4, issue 5. You don't want to have to scroll through 12 pages of, art from the last issue. So it's like, this is a perfect vehicle to kind of show people, it just keeps going. So they don't have to push play. They don't have to do nothing. When they're done looking at it, they can just scroll. So this is genius. But I love this cover. They're both really nice, but this one pops. This blue and orange. Just beautiful.
So that one's from Skylar Patridge.
Wow.
who is best known for Resonant from Vault, and she is doing a bunch of cover work for DC and Image right now.
Yeah,
just
I
a
can see
phenomenally talented artist.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Really, yeah, and that one's one of those covers that the more it makes me upset. The more you look at it, the better it gets. Like there are little impressions of them all over the place. It's just so like beautifully crafted and tender, and really captures the mood of the piece.
It's like, can you make it stop?
Yeah.
But I think it's further down.
Yeah, there's a still image further down.
Like,
yeah.
we'll be able to look at it and learn people.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other one is from Fellhound, who is a wonderful indie comic artist. She is the creator of Commander Rao and We Love You, and is working on some other stuff. Great cover artist as well. And she, we did this cover with her because it was sort of the formative image of the whole story. Was these two women embracing as they are surrounded by guards, potential and harm and swords. I absolutely loved creating the visual, working with artists to create the visuals for this story. They're all really striking and beautiful.
Yeah, just gorgeous. So tell us what the plot, give us the pitch and tell us about this. Yeah.
Yeah, The Catskin and the Rose is a 68-page graphic novella. It's very action romance or adventure romance, so sort of in the vein of The Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about these two women who are incredible sword fighters, duelists, who enter a tournament to win essentially marriage into the royal family. So wealth and status and everything they could ever dream of, both of whom are very poor. And while they are the finalists in this competition, and during their fight, they realize they have a lot more in common than they suspected and start to gain a respect for each other. And eventually some romantic feelings start to develop. And it becomes clear that no matter what, this is a bad situation because they're married. One of them is going to marry into the royal family and the other will be dead, or they'll try and run away. And in all likelihood, both will die.
Right. I was like, at that point, it's pretty much a tough situation.
Yeah.
Like, I have to kill
It's like,
you,
this is the worst possible moment to be discovering these feelings.
Ouch.
Yeah, but it's got lots of sword fights. It's got lots of romantic tension. It is on its face extremely queer, featuring with myself as the sole exception, featuring a team of sapphic women who are incredibly talented and that were very involved in the sort of the making of the story and the project. So very proud of the team overall. Rachel Disler is the interior artist. Kayla Sibal is the letterer, which I've been very busy lately and I haven't put the letters up on the page, but these pages are lettered and they look fantastic.
That's okay. A lot of times I don't put the letters up because I don't want spoilers.
Right.
It's like, you can see the art. It is lettered. Like, we'll show you maybe one lettered page, but you get further into the story and it's like, I can't tell you what they're saying because it's plot and you don't want to spoil it for you people. But there's not too much like plot on this page. It's just kind of a quiet moment between the characters. But she's getting an arrow taken out of her leg. I think we can figure out what's happening.
There's obviously some hints as to what has happened before, but
right.
But yeah, no, this is just kind of a good character moment between the two. We wanted to show that it is primarily between these two characters and definitely has the romance elements in there and gets a little spicy.
A little spicy, people. Get your tea. Oh, look, she's beautiful. Hey, pronounce her name for me. Iselda?
Iselda, yeah.
Iselda. Is a Catskin and the lowest caste in the kingdom. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean it's a society of like extreme, class stratifications. There's not a lot of upward mobility, not a lot of ways to improve your station in life, and this is one of the rare occasions that she's ever going to get to like get out of that potentially.
Yeah. And that's, it's so hard where it's like you have to go kill people or be killed in order to get out of your situation. Like, ooh, that's tough. And then here's Camille.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some scars on her. Ouch.
Yeah, that was a visual element that I really enjoyed, because you don't often get, even like in a lot of fantasy tropes, you don't often get you get like women who fight, but you don't often get like women who have the physical like characteristics of having fought people with sharp objects, i.e., scarred up faces and bodies and so yeah, getting to play with that. That's why she is the Rose, is because she has beautiful face and just an absolutely scarred up body.
Yeah.
But so yeah, and Rachel did a wonderful job with both of these character designs. Immediately, yeah, the characters just kind of come to life, and you're like, I know.
Yeah. I love character sheets. You know what I mean? Where they, for the first time, you get to see them on the page from different angles and different facial expressions, and I think those are always fun. So yeah, she looks tough, and she looks like a fighter. And I love the fact that they didn't dress them as, a lot of the comics, it's like, it's a metal bra. It's not really going to protect you.
Yeah, I hate that.
Dude, I am a martial artist, and I practice edged weapons, and you should see the gear we put on when we spar each other. You can't, it's like arms, legs, chest, forearm, head, everything is covered. So to see someone dressed like this makes much more sense than the Red Sonja outfit.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's room for cheesecake. That's what Frankenstein the Unconquered has a little bit of room for cheesecake, for example. But that's like so outside of being realistic when you have like actual Halloween monsters walking around. You're not as concerned with that.
What I'm saying is, so you can tell that who was involved in this project. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times, and I'm not saying either one is right or wrong. I'm saying there's just a different take depending on who your reader is going to be. Because a lot of times men, when they draw women as fighters, will draw them in a certain way. And when women draw women as fighters, you see them in a certain way. So it's just interesting to me. This is how Rachel sees this.
Absolutely.
I totally see it. And then Prince Damien.
Yeah, these are kind
who's
of
this guy?
So, as I said, this is a tournament to marry into the royal family. This is our
marry this guy.
Bachelor. Yeah, this would be the guy. He
looks like a Chad.
A bit of a dick.
Awesome. He says he's spoiled, arrogant, and cruel. Oh, he's King Joffrey Baratheon.
I'm not gonna go that far.
Right. You're like, he's not that bad.
I think maybe the more, not in terms of like attitude necessarily, but in terms of origins, I think like Cusco from The Emperor's New Groove might be a better allegory. Just like raised to be a prince and sort of is something of a dick.
Right.
Has power. Doesn't understand what the world not like revolving around him would look like.
So why would a tournament to marry him be in his favor if he has to marry a commoner? Or is this something that just happens in this culture?
Yeah, it's just tradition. It's just like I haven't done like a deep lore dive on this or anything, but my
sorry.
No, but my my headcanon is that to sort of ease tensions with the lower, because anytime you have like a stratified society where there's no mobility and tons of poverty and royals living in absolute like wealth and excess, there's going to be tensions there. So moreover, the problem that a lot of royal families have run into historically is inbreeding. Is like we only want to marry royals, and there's only so many royals, so eventually we start marrying cousins. And
Yeah.
The way this kingdom got around it is like we hold this tournament. That way we're guaranteeing kind of new entrants into the thing. The whole theme is like ascension, so we're taking someone potentially from the lower caste and making them better, and rising them up to our level. So officially it's like they're not a commoner anymore. It serves a double purpose of we're making a sport out of it, we're making a game out of it. People get their bloodlust sated. They're not they're not chomping at the bit to start bringing out guillotines.
It's very French of you.
Yeah. And the overall, like, it helps on several levels, and it prevents sort of these long-term problems from occurring, as well as some short-term problems get quelled in the process. So it was kind of someone's clever solution to figure it out. And at this point, it's been a couple centuries of doing this. It's something of a tradition. People look forward to it.
Gotcha.
So he didn't. That is sort of the other side of the double-edged sword that is being born into power and born into wealth, is that you very often have very little choice over your personal life.
Right.
Prince Damon is getting married off, whether he wants to or not. He seems to enjoy the attention, so it's not like it's bumming him out. But you can definitely see a world, a Disney movie take on it, where but I don't want to do that, and I want to explore my own, thing.
Right. I want to travel the world.
Yeah, and then
Sorry.
And then on the flip side, you got the Queen, who's the next character down.
Yeah, tell me about it.
She was married into the family. She was in Iselda's position a long time ago, where she was the commoner and overcame her status to become the queen. And as a result, she no longer has an identity. They took away her sword arm. She, she's the queen. She has a lot of power, but she has basically no agency anymore.
Is that something that they always do to these women? Is once they win the tournament, they take their sword arm?
That is the I think we do say that outright. Like,
oh my God.
In sort of an implied way.
You're such a fighter. It's great. Now we're taking it away from you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that makes sense because you're dangerous.
Yeah.
It's also there because you're good at killing people. You're going to kill us too.
Exactly. It's sort of a way of bringing people under control.
Right.
So yeah, it's there's a lot going on there. It's not as like straightforward as just like rich people always be happy. It's like there are a lot of costs to climbing the ladder in the society, and even the people at the top are not necessarily well off.
Dang.
Better, definitely, definitely better. Let's be clear, but
yeah, it's like they okay. So people understand what they're signing themselves up for. It's like, yeah, you get out of poverty, but you're also going to give up your right arm. Cost you an arm and a leg to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just maybe an arm, but that's a high price, man.
For sure.
And it's interesting that she's also a Catskin like Ismelda.
Yeah.
Right? Ismelda.
Iselda.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I said it wrong.
Yeah, it was sort of a we wanted a foil to the character. We wanted her to sort of explicitly be like, Iselda can make it. She has like this physical proof that it's there in the form of this character, the Queen. But yeah, there are a lot of differences between them as well, and obviously there's a whole other person standing in her way that turns out to matter a lot more than she suspects. So
yeah, interesting. All right, so let's take a look at some of the things that people can get.
Yeah.
We have rewards. We have $15 digital copy.
Yeah.
How many pages is this?
68, so close to 70 pages.
Yeah, this is not your 24-page floppy, people.
No.
This is much considerably more.
Yeah, this is like a whole mini series put together, essentially.
Is a one shot, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait for the next one to come out. They're not going to leave you hanging in the middle.
Nope.
Get the whole story.
It is a whole story, I will say, and that was the point of doing it in a large sense, was I just wanted to write a story, end it, show that I could tell a whole story and be done.
John says that book is thick.
Correct. And it is going to be perfect bound and everything too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's this one here.
Yeah, the print copy. To my horror, yeah, as we finished the script and as we figured out what we wanted it to be, I was like, oh god, this is begging for a sequel, isn't it? But
oh no. You're like, it's a one shot.
It might be a two shot. I don't know. But this is, even if we decide not to, it's still a complete and satisfying story. And I like
mean, depending on how the story goes, and like you said, it's like it's just a bad situation all around. It's like no matter how you resolve it, there's gonna be questions afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I could totally see how it could end up being more than one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just depends if it's in that rotation of 5. Like do it again. So, but $25 is a great price, man, for a physical copy of the book, and a digital copy and a name on a thank you page. That's amazing. Because usually you see trade paperback around $30, like $40. So $25 is a great price. So, ooh, $40 special edition. That's that great cover.
Yeah, that's the Skylar Patridge cover. We also include some back matter in this one. So we'll include the character sheets. We'll give you a page breakdown, some concepts that didn't get used. We also have some stretch goals that include making mini comics. So if we hit those, we will put those into that into these copies as well, the special edition copies. So yeah, it's basically just the book with the Skylar Patridge cover and some extra features.
Extra features, behind the scenes, extra material. Very cool. Look at this! I love shiny things.
So yeah, we weren't originally looking to make a foil cover or anything, and then we got Skylar Patridge's art, and we were just like, this is begging for a virgin foil cover. Like we can't. We can't not put it in.
Yeah, you just cannot not do it. It's too perfect for it. Oh
absolutely.
Man.
And then this one comes with one of the stickers as well,
gotcha.
Which is the two character swords crossed over the lesbian pride flag, which is the book in a nutshell.
Right. $100 get you everything. Dang.
Yeah. So all three copies of the book, digital book, both stickers, and the enamel pen. And plus you get you get name recognition, so you get your name in the thank you page, and I'm not missing anything. Cool. So and this is overall, I think we priced it out, it's overall at like a 20% discount. So
yeah, I was gonna say, if you look at these amounts, like $60, $40, $25, that's $125, and then everything for $100, that's a great price. Plus you get extras because this enamel pen I don't think was in. It was just the sticker.
So the enamel pen. Yeah, the enamel pen is an add-on that you can get at any physical tier, but it's included in the everything tier.
Nice. I need to look at some enamel pens. People love those.
Oh yeah, enamel pens. Are great. So
$50 everything. Yeah. Oh, a digital commission.
Yeah, so we had at the beginning of the things, yes. So we had 2 digital commissions and we had 1 traditional commission, and they are both sold out.
I was gonna say this isn't here anymore.
I would love to convince Rachel to do more digital commissions, but that is her time and her effort, so I can't push out any more than she is willing to. Also, if on the off chance someone is watching, or someone has a comic book store that they're close with, we do have a couple of retailer tiers, 5 copies and 10 copies. So if you know someone who owns a store, or you want to shop yourself, you can absolutely get in on that.
I have to go back to this section. There we go. Because those are all gone. We're not going to look at those. Retailer only 10 copies for $90. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are your wholesale prices, and we only do that for shops. So I don't know
Right.
why someone would want 10 copies, but
I don't know. I feel you. I'm like, I had done a bunch of retailer stuff and nobody backed it. And the one time I didn't do it because I was like, nobody wants these. A retailer was like, where's your retail package? And I'm like, God dang it. Of course you want one. I was like, well, I got to put that back on now. So, but yeah, these are amazing. Add-ons, you can add on the logo sticker.
Mhm.
We
also have
sticker.
Yeah,
What's
we have
that?
the Pride sticker. We also have a stretch goal sticker that we put on at 12K.
Oh, no.
And we're turning that into an enamel pen for 15K as well. So we have a couple of extra add-ons there as if you like yourself some stickers and add-ons and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that you always include your other work in your add-on. So
of course.
if people are interested in Frankenstein the Unconquered, you have issues 1 and 2. They're available as signed by comic. Woo!
Yeah. So yeah, if you get, it doesn't matter how many comics you get, it's just one fee, and I sign everything.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the way that works. Enamel pen.
Enamel pen.
Yes, very pretty. Again, designed by Brenda Snell. She is incredible. Highly recommend for your graphic design needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. By Visibility was a anthology that I was in. It ran on Kickstarter as well. Kat Calamia is the editor behind that. Mine is the second story in there. It's called Gay Panic. And then,
it's called what?
Gay Panic.
Oh, it's like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Here's an extra copy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yeah,
it's the book. So yeah, so if you want because I have collectors too, where it's like you get one that's signed that'll stay in the package, you never take it out, and then you get an additional one to read and to touch and smell and get your fingerprints on. That's what this is for, peeps. So
Absolutely.
if you want that extra copy and then the pristine copy, there you go. Descent into Dread.
Yeah, it's a horror anthology. That was our first published book. That was my first published book.
Nice.
We worked on with Dalton Shannon and a bunch of other artists. And yeah, it's published by Caliber Comics, but mostly we just sell it out of our basement.
At least he's honest. I wish I had a basement. I'm just gonna say. Sure. Here's digital catalog, which is great. So you get you get 3 issues of Mechaton and 2 of.
You get all 5 issues of Mechaton. So you get everything that's available from Mechaton and Frankenstein the Unconquered.
For $20, that's great, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ooh, and then physical copies, Mechaton 1 through 5. These are a lot of fun people. I had Dalton on talking about Mechaton. Were you here for that one or no?
I don't think I was. I think
it was just Dalton. And these are so much fun. It's a brother and sister. This glove falls from outer space, and they can turn items into mecha, and they fight like giant bugs, which is awesome. There was a frickin' hot dog truck. Here, put that back up. There's a hot dog truck cart that they turned into a mecha, which was so cool. And that one, it's like there was a foil cover of that. So if you like Transformers and like Godzilla and Power Rangers, that one was a ton of fun to talk about. I really enjoyed that conversation. Dalton is funny too. I love his
he's great.
Picture with his what does he have, a colander on his head? I was like, I take a picture and you have like a colander head drawing, and he was like, yeah, I can't take myself too seriously. I'm like, okay,
yeah. That came from a production, or I guess a short film that he wrote in college called High and Mighty, about gods from every culture in the world going to high school together, and he had a cameo in it as the flying spaghetti monster. Which
I was gonna say,
which is just the colander on his head.
Yeah, it's so funny. If you guys haven't seen it, oh my gosh, you have to see it. It's hilarious. So who we have? Is this a poster?
No, it's the book.
It is the actual book.
We just couldn't grab the full cover, but it's by Visibility 2's Still By, which I also have a story in. Again, Kat Calamia, that was the sequel to the first one. This one is by Eraser. It's drawn by Lisa Stirl, who did most recently Witchblood, the Vault series. Yeah.
I still love this. Here's your extra copy special, the cover by Skylar Partridge. It's just an amazing cover.
It's
So you can
beautiful.
get your extra cover there, your collector edition.
Absolutely.
What's this? From the
Static.
Horror? From the Static. Yes. Oh, it's so scary.
Yeah,
another horror anthology.
Absolutely. From Band of Bards, I did a story in there with Rachel Allen Everett called The Infant, which is a sailing story. It is the introduction to the anthology. It's the first story you read in there. And yeah, we have a couple copies kicking around. So if
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe
from the basement, people. He'll go into the basement to get it for you.
I do believe that this anthology is going, like, we're going to do I don't know if they're going to do a hardback or exactly how they're going to make it different, but they're going to do something special for the Kickstarter release sometime. I believe October is when that's coming out.
October. That would be perfect. I mean, when's a better time to release a horror anthology than October?
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Absolutely. And again, if you want that extra copy, here's your foil copy of this beautiful cover. Amazing.
Yes.
I can totally, yeah. I mean, you should just sell like 11 by 17s of that.
Oh, well, you know. The 11s, I like 11s by 17s. I avoid them because they're more expensive to ship.
Oh, yeah.
And a big pain to just kind of finagle. But whenever I get the chance, whenever I get something that's really striking, I will go ahead. I will do that. Maybe for, maybe in a future campaign, we'll blow that up to a poster size and sell it that way.
Or you could always do it at cons. You know what I mean? When people are there, you could just hand it to them. We're going to ship it. Quinn would like to know when are you planning on launching that anthology in October, before or after Halloween?
I don't have. So it's not my project. It's Band of Bards. If I check, from the Static. I believe it's before Halloween, but I haven't seen. Something. Gotcha. It looks like it's going to be like beginning of October. And only going to run for about 2 weeks. So
gotcha.
It'll all take place before Halloween, I believe.
So people should be getting their stuff closer to Halloween as opposed to.
Absolutely. It is. Yeah. The book is made, so there shouldn't be too much of a turnaround.
Right. You just got to print them. All right. So the target market, and let me scroll all the way back for people who have just joined. We are talking about the Catskin and the Rose. We got a backer since we've been talking, which is awesome. Their goal of $10,000 has been met. We haven't talked about stretch goals yet. We're on our way there, but this is an amazing story about two women who are basically at the dredges of society. They're in the lower class, and they enter this competition to be married into the royal family by fighting each other until only one remains, if I'm correct. And the two of them catch feelings in the middle of this battle. So it sounds like there's lots of action. There's some romance. It gets a little spicy is what I'm told. But here's these two characters. And it's just, if you think about it, Wells has created just this terrible situation. So here's these two ladies who are fighting to marry into a family. And if they're the last two there, they either have to kill one another, and one of them is married to the royal family, or they run away together, and then they're both probably going to be hunted down like dogs. So great, giving us all traumatic experience. But that's what we read, right? We want to, there's an impossible situation, and we want to know what kind of decisions these two characters make along the way. Here's Prince Damien, where they're both fighting for to marry. I just kind of laugh at him all the time. He looks like an amazing character who's just going to be sarcastic and kind of a douchebag, if I'm looking at it right. Some beautiful covers. Digital starting at 15. Again, this is how many pages? 60 what?
68.
68 pages. So this is not your 24-page floppy. This is a thick. THICC is what John called it. Look, thick. This book is thick.
Indeed.
Just some amazing, amazing things. Some of them, unfortunately, we're getting to it, and there's 9 days left, 8 days.
Yeah, 8 days.
And,
Well, I think it missed. I think it shoots it ahead by 1. So it's actually 9 total days. It'll go to 3 days, and then it'll go to 72 hours.
Gotcha.
So
it's
a total of
October.
9 days.
I'm sorry, October. Now I got October in my brain. Things
August.
end on August 10th.
August 10th at 11 a.m.
Right? So that's Central Time, people.
Yes.
So there's 8 days to go, until August 10th, and some of the good things are gone, but get in there and get some of these amazing foil covers, just beautiful things. This is the $100 everything is such a good deal. You save $25 because you get a copy of everything and all these. Well, more than that because you get extras. Just some really cool things that are in here, and then you can pick up some of Wells' other work. Frankenstein the Unconquered, by Visibility. He has a couple of horror anthologies that are there. You can even just get a digital catalog for $20. That's amazing. Here's Mechaton, which is a really fun comic. So many good things from Static, which sounds terrifying. It's such a good name. So that's kind of a recap if you just checked in, what we're talking about and what we're going from. So the target market, here for the Catskin and the Rose is the readers who love pulpy adventure and romance. So we already said The Princess Bride and Howl's Moving Castle, both just amazing titles. Fans of female-led indie fairy tales, Tales of the Shield Maiden.
Yeah, there we go.
And how you said this one? Whiff Wolf.
Which was a really big Kickstarter project about werewolves who are women, and it was super bloody and fun and interesting and with such strong characters, and I felt like I had to pay homage to it.
Nice. And of course, here is your creative team that we've talked about here as Wells with his professional photo.
Yeah, me from.
I only laugh because my photos suck every time I put them on my page, and I just I can't find a good one. And my artist always has these professional, beautiful photos, and I'm like, man, I suck.
Yeah, occasionally,
a really nice one.
I've been looking at this photo, and I'm like, this is from before I met my wife. I don't even feel like this person anymore. This is weird.
Is it time for an updated headshot?
It might be, but my face hasn't gotten any better since then. So
you look the same, dude. I mean,
I really
don't need to. It looks really good. And then, of course, here is Rachel. Can you pronounce her last name for me?
Disler. It's like
Disler.
It's like whistle. The T is barely there.
Gotcha. And she is the artist for the interiors. And then, of course, pronounce her name for me. Keela
Mel or Keela?
Yeah. Keela.
Sybil, yeah. Yeah, she's a phenomenal letterer, recommended to me by several people, and I was super excited to be a part of this project. So
that's cool.
And she
has been
like
a romance. Yes, I do.
She has been wonderful in her just incredibly specific, honing in on details of being here's I picked this font because of these reasons, and how it meshes with the background, and making sure that all of the page dimensions are absolutely correct so that we don't have any problems with printing. She is definitely the person you want on your team.
Awesome. Yeah, because there's actually thought behind it, as opposed to I don't know. I use the same font for the entire book, and it's really? Okay. I'm the letterer in my book, so I feel that where I'm this one makes more sense, or you know what I mean? I'm changing font because it's a different person, or this, or we have ASL in my book, so it's you have to make conscious choices about what's that.
I said, oh, that's really cool, including ASL in a comic.
It's hard. Sometimes we have to it's still in a bubble. It's not it's the same bubble, it's a different bubble. But because it's too much to have them actually sign out. But other times we are showing hand symbols, we'll spell things out in ASL, or sometimes they're doing a gesture. One of my main characters loves to swear at people using ASL, so he just does like the bullshit, you know what I mean? So we have that on a t-shirt. It's hilarious. So, but yeah, it's fun to play with that kind of stuff, and I think it enriches the story. So, I love when I see other people that are doing that as well. She seems like a cool gal.
Oh, she's great.
Isn't it? Look at her face. That's the face I think every editor makes when they get a rough draft. And
like, absolutely. Krista is phenomenal. Krista's been a friend for a really long time. I've worked with them at Comic Book Yeti for years.
Yeah.
And they... The best thing I ever saw written about them was you can send them anything and they'll look at you and say, did you want me to fix this turd, or was turd what you're going for?
My favorite is, did you read this before you sent it to me? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, should I read it again? They're like, please read it again and fix all these things before. You're like, I'll tackle it after at least you've read through it again. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But I can just imagine that face, like to Krista's face, it just makes me laugh because I'm like, that is the face that every editor makes when they get a rough draft. Like, oh God, this is, like you said, this is a rough turd. Absolutely. No, Krista's great, and they're incredibly like brutally honest. But in that there's a very much a sense of like, you know, trust, and I don't have to worry about like, you know, are you withholding anything from me? Do you secretly feel like, you know, this could be better? It's like, no, I know exactly how you feel about it. Good.
You know,
that's what we want from editors. Be brutal, rip it to shreds. That's what I said earlier in the show. I was like, it's going to my editor, Rachel. She's going to rip it to shreds because she wants it to be the best version of itself. And that's the goal there. You know what I mean? And it's like, why did you make these choices? They question everything so that way it could be the best version of itself.
Absolutely.
So, Brenda is the pin.
Yes. Brenda designed the logo, the cover dressing. She puts the books together, so she lays out the books and makes it all look pretty. She did all of the design, all the graphic design on the campaign page. So all of these beautiful graphics that you're looking at are her work.
I was going to mention that. I love how the black and white roses are there on everything.
She is fantastic, and I cannot recommend working with her enough. She is enthusiastic and warm and immensely talented, and just brings her A game to every project that I bring her. So
and she lives near Flint, Michigan. I used to live out that way, so.
Yeah,
I don't live in Michigan no more, but when I was there, I did. I worked in Flint for a little while, so I was out that way. So
I'm out in Chicago, so close, but not close, but not actually. You know, it's
right.
It's still,
I know, like
Chicago's
like
it's still like a 4 or 5 hour. You know,
it is right. It's like the next big city that we can drive to from Michigan, where it's like you can get there in a day. And it's in another state, but it's like people don't realize that Detroit and Chicago are really only like 4.5 hours away, depending on how fast you drive.
Yeah.
But it's
between I drove to Ann Arbor to pick up some books at you know, when I first moved to Chicago, because I was like, oh, my printing team that I use is based out of Ann Arbor. Maybe I can save on shipping this way. I don't recommend it. It was a 4-hour drive there, a 4-hour drive back. I was in the car all day. It's like, yeah, I'll pay the shipping. It's
right.
But I did get to meet the team. I did get to see, some of the
print shop. That's cool.
I got to see the print shop, and I got to see, some of the natural beauty of Michigan, which that I will say.
One of my buddies works in a print shop in Florida. He works at Comic Impressions, so he was showing me video of like their giant machines, and I was like, "This is insane! I can't imagine."
It's really cool on sort of both levels, because on the one hand, like some of the operation is really big and really impressive, and on the other hand, you get to see like, oh, there's only like maybe 15, 20 people who work here. And,
Right.
And like, it's a very small sort of, tight knit operation. It's, they don't have all the space in the world to be doing this. It's not like you're, ordering from, the Amazon fulfillment warehouse.
Right.
Thing. It's like, this feels very, cool, very tight knit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree with you. So it was just interesting to see like how it works and like how it goes through each one of the machines and how it prints CYMK, because people a lot of times don't see that.
Absolutely. It gives you a really cool perspective.
Yeah. Your cover artist, here's some pictures. Fellhound is a is a drawing, which is awesome. I want someone to do a drawing of me so I can use that instead of my picture because I suck at taking pictures.
Fel is notorious for never like showing her face or using her real name. She's very private in that regard. I am one of a handful of people that actually know her name because I've commissioned work from her, and you just can't get around that sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just a lovely individual and super fun to work with and talk to, and she's just a joy to be around and to have in the community. And then Skylar is one of the most talented artists working today, in my opinion. Really. Just incredible work coming out of her. Every single thing that I see, I'm like, well, I'm probably getting, if it's on Kickstarter, it's like I'm probably getting the Skylar Patridge cover. Same thing with like Kaylin Smith. If I see Kaylin Smith cover, I'm probably going to buy it. Right.
No, I feel you. When I'm like, it's just, sometimes there's just one that speaks to you from the group, and it's like depending on who you are, they all speak to you a little differently. And that's why, having a variant cover is such a great thing because it's like, oh, I love this. Did you see this one? You know what I mean? And it just draws you in. You're like, I have to have this. I was like, I really want that. So just amazing work. And that's always what we're looking for is for artists who can tap into like the passion behind the story and be able to put it on the page to draw people in. So good job on that. The budget, of course, this is necessary. Keep going. Timeline, shipping. Where's your stretch goals? Did I pass them?
Oh, they're at the top now since we're on the
I
goals.
totally whizzed past them. I was like, this is where I was going. Here they are.
There they are.
All right. So we've already hit funding, which was 10,000. You've unlocked this one at 12,000. So all backers receive a digital copy of Do You Believe in an Afterlife? Ooh.
Yes, so that is a one of Fellhound's first big works before she did Commander Rao, and she very generously donated it to as a PDF for our backers. So full graphic novel. You're essentially getting double the pages that you would normally get. You get our graphic novel and her graphic novel.
Wow!
For signing on. And that's everyone. That's everyone regardless. If you put no reward and get it, and just put in $1, you still get this. So
you can put in $1 and get this one for sure. That's awesome. I love that. I love digital stretch goals as the first stretch goal because not only can everybody get it, but it's like once it's unlocked, it's like you said, $1 gets you in the door. So it's just getting more people involved and more people to read her work as well, which is amazing. So we're real close to this 15,000 peeps. So let's help get this one unlocked in the next few days because we have 8 days. You're gonna make it. Look, you got another backer while we were talking. So we're at 14,700. We need less than $300 to hit this next one, which I keep scrolling too far.
That one unlocks a fan comic that me and Rachel did. That was the first thing that we worked on together, was an Arcane fan comic. It's a 2-pager. We can't put it in the book for legal reasons, but we're gonna print it as a print or as a insert and put it in with everything else so that you can enjoy that in
cool.
as sort of like a postcard size. And then we're also releasing an enamel pin to out into the public based on a design that I don't think is up there yet. But
I was going to say, tell us what it is. I want to know.
Let me look it up.
You can always share your screen. I'll put it up there.
I can definitely find it. I just have Brenda and I email too much, so
You're like,
So
it's
I'm-
one of these 12 emails.
so yeah, I'm looking through I'm looking through like 83 emails, but I found it. Here we go. Presents. There you go.
Let's put it up. Ooh.
So yeah, that's the
You're really sharp.
that is the this is the enamel pin design. We use a very similar one for the sticker that you can buy as well, and we do have pictures of that up on when you go to buy it and check it out. We do have images of that, so you can be absolutely sure what you're getting.
Cool. So that's it's an enamel pin, correct?
Yes. Yeah. It's
Okay.
gonna be,
So that's what will unlock to become available for purchase. Wait, put it back.
Oh, this isn't one I got from Kansas City.
Right, so that'll be
Planet
like
Comic-Con,
that.
but it'll be
That's
like
your
this.
example.
Yeah.
It's cute though. It's Grogu.
It is.
Those enamel pins, they're so hot right now.
Oh yeah. People go nuts for them.
All right, so we will definitely get to this 15,000. You're well on your way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the question is how hard can we
20K.
push to get to this 20? The Queen, an extra 3-page comic set in the world of the Catskin and the Rose, drawn by Tango. Who's Tango?
Well, if you click that link, it'll take you to their
Let's go look.
Twitter page. But Tango is a wonderful indie artist, indie comic artist. She has been blowing up in popularity lately.
Ooh.
Just some really gorgeous work, some really fantastic lines and extremely expressive characters. Someone that I've been excited to work with for a while. I really enjoy their style. I really enjoy their general vibe.
Nice. So the pages are already done?
No, they are. She has been kind enough to do a character sketch for us of the Queen, and I do have that kicking around. But we haven't commissioned the pages yet because we don't have.
Gotcha. Got to get to this 20 grand, people.
Yeah, exactly. Also,
I feel it.
Absolutely. Also, with that Kickstarter, we're doing a poster from Angela Wu comes from Stale. Angela Wu, fantastic artist. Also, someone I've been really excited to be able to work with. We don't have the art for that yet, again, because we need to pay her, and we can't pay her until we hit the 20 grand. And then the other thing that happens at 20 grand is that Rachel gets a bonus, so we get more money to our creative team.
Rachel would love to get a bonus, people.
I know that she would.
Hardworking artists. I know. It's like I wish we could all afford to give them bonuses on everything.
Yeah,
they're worth it. They really are. So, so unlocking away, things are going in your way that way. So I don't know. That made no sense. Things are going in that direction. Thank you. I can
for
talk.
sure.
So definitely, people, if you are watching, give this a share. Share out this link. I'm going to put it in the chat again so people can find this project and make sure we give it some light. We got 8 days left. Let's get it into as many sets of eyeballs as possible. So that way Rachel can get a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it helps with all of that stuff, like shipping and all the extras. If they have a few extra dollars in their pocket to make sure things go smoothly. And as we all know, the budget is, majority to art. Art production is like here 56%. This is typical of all Kickstarter projects. Printing, you're going to have another 20%. That printing is expensive, especially with glue bound, perfect bound books. It's more expensive than a floppy because you got a lot more pages there. Shipping is going to be more than your floppy because it's heavier. It's a 68-page book with all your goodies. Taxes, of course, processing and fees. The Kickstarter will take their chunk. So let's make sure they got a nice buffer so that way after all the fees and everything come out that still have money to pay everybody what they're worth. So definitely a cool project. I'm very excited to see it come to life. Just all good things. Ooh, we need one more backer so we can get to a nice round number. This is my OCD kicking in, people. Someone go in and back. Get the digital, get the dollars so you get whatever. I would like to see this at 350 so that way my brain can say, an even number.
I'm always looking for those big milestones as well. So 350 would be nice. My goal is 500 backers for this project, which I feel like is still well within our grasp. I'm really excited to see how this turns out. Like I said, we're on pace for this being our most popular project of all time. Definitely our most biggest funding goal and result of all that we've had so far, which I'm super excited about and pumped for. I think this will be the one to beat for a while. Awesome. Frankenstein the Unconquered has a good chance to challenge it, but I feel good about this one.
Yeah, amazing. Which one is coming next?
Frankenstein the Unconquered number 3 and number 4. We're doing 2 issues of that. It's got it's got cover art from Christie Shinn, from Kara Husatz. Heather Vaughn does the main covers on those. Flops is doing another cover. We've got Fernando Pinto, who's the main artist on Mechaton, doing a cover. And we have a killer creative team for that one. If I don't know if we've ever spoken about that one, but it's essentially it's Conan the Barbarian with Halloween monsters, essentially.
I'm there.
Absolutely.
I love horror, as you know. Like, I write a horror series as well.
Yeah.
So anytime it's like your horror anthologies come up, I'm like, ooh, I can add these on. All right.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I was like, tell me more. From the Static. It's just such a good name. It's like, ooh, something's coming out of that static. It's not a good thing. Definitely good stuff. I want to also show people you have a web page. So if you ever interested in what Wells is doing, I'm sure you have a mailing list. Email list?
I have a Substack. It used to be like a MailChimp mailing list. We migrated over to Substack. We found a lot of success over there. And there is a sign up for that Substack on my website, wellsthompson.com. There's also ways to get in contact with me if you want to hire me as a writer or an editor for that matter. I am available for work for hire as well. So,
cool.
Plus there's links to our other books. Mechaton, Frankenstein the Unconquered. You can find links to that down there as well.
That's why I wanted to bring this up, is so because Wells is constantly moving from one project to the next. So someone like myself would be like, okay, what is Wells working on right now? Obviously he's going to put his featured stuff at the top. Like, go to this one and check it out, please. Right. And then of course, here's the other works that you can check out. And let's see, can we click on it? Will it go? You got links. Of course, look, here's all sorts of stuff you can get. So it's very easy to support. And then check out all the other works that he has. Hire me, work with me, and follow me, about me. Here's your lovely picture, all of his contact information. Send me a message, send him $20, send him a coffee, whatever you decide to do. But that web page, I also put here on the screen so you guys can follow along, because he's another guy that's just not stopping. You're not stopping.
No.
Just going to keep going.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Too stubborn, won't stop. I mean that as a compliment, because indie is hard. Indie is hard. And it's so easy to get to a point where, like, this is so much work and I just don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? Sure. And then there's the rest of us who are like, sorry, you're putting up with me. I'm going to keep putting out books.
You're like, I am going to succeed forcefully. I'm not going to take no for an answer in any context.
Oh, that's how I am too. I'm like, here comes my next thing. Oh, by the way, did you see I made this next? So I'm always looking for new things and new ways to. I got to start working on my short film, the next one that's coming out for 4.
Oh, that's great.
I have ideas for it. So
Fantastic.
That's the next thing on my agenda.
Great. Fantastic.
Where do you find time to write in between all of this promotion?
Welcome to the background noise of my anxiety. Basically, whenever I can force myself to, I go to a coffee shop and I kind of unplug from everything else. I put on some music and I just I'll have like 3 things I generally that want to work on, and whatever pulls me that particular day is what I'll spend my time on. Try and make it as unstructured as possible so that I don't feel like I'm like, being too restrictive or forcing myself to work on something that I don't want to be at the moment. But like right now, I need to be working on Frankenstein number 5, Mechaton number 6, and editing for a project that is in the works. And so next time I go to the coffee shop, which will probably be Friday, I would imagine, I'm gonna go, and whatever I feel like working on that particular day, for 4 or 5 hours, that's all I'm gonna do.
I feel you. Sometimes I'm like, I sit down to write and I write like a page, and then I'm like, I'm just not feeling this, and I was like, I'm gonna go make crafts. Like, do something else. Try to revisit it as much as I can, but still, it's like, I don't know. It's like hard to force creativity.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes you have to do it.
I find that I'm more creative and more and better at what I do when I'm being consistent. So if I'm able to get out every day or every other day or as often as I can, and either do editing or put text on the page, do something creative, then when I get inspiration for something, I wind up just absolutely pumping it. Like the last script that I wrote, similar to how the Catskin and the Rose was made, I did it in like 5 days, 6 days of just like, I have this idea, and then from beginning to end, it's done and ready for editing. Just because I had sort of already primed myself for like, I'm used to doing the work, so let's just get in there and get done. And if there's no resistance in my mind of like, well, what's going to happen next? If I already know, then it's just let's all the way through it.
Right. I'm along the lines where it's like, I know where I'm going to start and I know how the end is going to be, and then I figure out the middle. Are you just like where you get the idea everything is formed in your mind already and you just dump it onto the page and then refine it? Or do you ever have a point like you could go this way or this way?
I've stopped looking for like clear patterns because every project is so weird and different.
Yeah.
Like when I did Catskin, I started at the end of the book, and I just did the scenes that I knew best, that I like had fully formed in my head. So I did the end first, and then I did a scene from like the early part of the book that wasn't quite the beginning, but like was a little bit into it. And then I sort of bridged that, and I did the beginning last. And I've never done that before, and I haven't tried to do it since. Most of the time, what I do is just a straight, like I start at the beginning and I just work my way all the way through, knowing kind of where I want my beats to land and knowing what the ending is going to be, and letting it evolve along the way. But just as often, it's something completely different and random that I haven't tried before. And it all works. It's just what works best for the project and what I need at the moment is what happens. I do find that trying to force a specific way is where I usually wind up getting in trouble.
Yeah.
There was a project I was working on for just months that is like 110, 120 pages. Should not have taken me that long, but it was just, I could not break it. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't quite get what I was trying to do and get at. And it took me, like 3 months, 4 months, and like 2.5 drafts. Like midway through the 3rd draft, I was like, this is what it's about. and actually started to kind of.
What method did you use to get through that? Because a lot of us as writers, we will write ourselves into a corner, or we get to a point where it's like, it's hard to make a decision. Do they, because like, for example, one of my characters is in a point where she could take a life or she could save a life. and I'm stuck there because both of those have major ramifications for this character.
Right.
So it's like, how do you push past that point? When
I tend to think in terms of the whole. So I usually know. By the time I get to that point, it's very rare that I haven't already decided what's better for the story, or like which direction, like
right.
Or the fact that they even came upon that is a consequence of, well, I need to get here, or this is the ultimate goal of the story, so they need to struggle with this at some point.
Right.
So yeah, that's not typically a question I have most of the time of like, well, what would be better for them to, kill someone or not kill someone? It's like, they're either hard killing someone or they're gonna back out. And
that's just my specific character is in that point. But I'm just saying, like, when you get to that, write yourself into a place where it's like, where do I go from here? How do you write both ways? I know you said you kind of have an end goal in mind.
Yeah, but I'm really big into outlines, and I think the most useful bit of writing advice I've gotten in like this stage of my career, which is like I would say the beginning of where I am now was doing a course with Neil Gaiman where he explained, and it wasn't it wasn't like he was teaching.
It was one of those like master classes.
But it was just like, oh, this came up. I'd love to hear what he has to say about storytelling.
Yeah.
And he sort of breaks down what genre is and what's why we need it, not necessarily as writers, but as readers, but also how it can be useful as writers. And he breaks it down very much in terms of like, what does it feel like the story wants? Like, what does it feel like the story needs to do? So he'll talk about like a hypothetical story, and he's like, well, it feels like this character, this scene needs to happen, just because we expect this out of the genre trope. But with this character, we could approach it in this different way. And like, that sort of helped break down like how I sort of approach telling a story, or at the very least, breaking a story down and figuring out, what it is that I'm going for. In turn, like very often I will have the big broad strokes already decided before, like that's sort of the process. That's sort of all the pre-writing process in my head. Of just like, well, if I was going to do, a romance, if I was going to do this type of story, like with Catskin, what would I want to do with that?
Traumatize
and
people.
So clearly, the starting point for me was like, can I effectively have two people fall in love during a sword fight? So sort of those pieces were already there. That was the end goal, was like, we need them to experience this emotional connection during a sword fight, and the rest sort of follows that. And then from there, it's like, well, what happens after? It feels like we need to have a scene where they're running away. It feels like we need to have a scene where they're, they get to be kind of close and intimate, but under duress. We need some kind of something to break them up and something to bring them back together. And these things sort of naturally fell into places. Like, what does the story feel like it needs to progress?
Right.
And then from there, you go in, you start using the characters to speak, and you figure out, okay, why do they split up at this point? What brings them back together? What part of their, personality and their, internal workings would bring them back together in this sense? And that's where you start to get your most interesting moments of like, your characters really speaking and making their own decisions in a weird way. And to me, that's half the fun of writing, is discovering those moments and discovering the characters through the plot.
Do you ever have an aha moment, like you said, like when you were on your third draft and you were like, aha. Like,
oh, totally. Yeah.
But like for me, those aha moments weirdly come when I'm half awake. So like 3:00 in the morning, I get up for whatever reason. And then my brain is like, hey, that thing that you were obsessing about earlier? Here's how we should tackle it.
Again, like I've stopped trying to find reason in it because I will find inspiration both for stories and like how to deal with stories in the most random places. Sometimes it's like you said, when I'm half awake and I'm barely what's up, and I'm like barely thinking about it. Sometimes it's I've just woken up and I'm as fresh as I'm gonna be, and I've worried myself sick about it all night. And it's just like, oh, that makes sense,
right?
So I've been having conversations with my wife where I'm just like, and I need you to stop what you're saying right now. And it's just like, and I have to go off and be like let's
hold
make
on,
sure,
I need to write something down. Wait.
I need to make absolutely sure that I don't forget this because it's brilliant. Yeah, no, it just kind of comes when it comes, and I've stopped worrying about am I gonna it started off, especially early in my career, of like, what if I'm done? What if that was the last good idea I'll ever have?
Oh no.
And I've stopped worrying about that because no matter how like unoriginal or out of ideas I feel like I'm being, at some point I'm going to go, oh, wouldn't it be cool if whether it's a new story or a solution to a problem that I'm having, like at some point it's just going to hit me, and
it comes out of weird places.
Yeah, and as long as I'm not trying to force it, it's probably going to come sooner rather than later.
It's weird. Like I had an idea for a story watching a YouTube video of guys hunting boar on helicopters.
Very cool. Yeah, cool.
It's like, oh, you know what I mean? So it just comes out of nowhere sometimes. People send you random things like, look at this crazy thing. And you're like, I got a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are the best when they just like come out of nowhere.
I've gotten inspired by like stand-up comedy. I've gotten inspired by Tumblr posts and shit posts on the internet. And I've and real life, like, just anecdotes that my friends have told me. I've been like, that would make for really, okay, cool. I can do something.
Right. Sometimes some crazy shit happens and you're like, you can't make this up. Like this is like a sitcom level comedy things that just unfolded in your life. I need to, riff on that.
Totally.
Go off on that.
People will ask me where I get my ideas, and I'm like, I don't know. They just happen. I can't.
But I feel like everything that's my last idea. You know what I mean? Like we all have that doubt.
Everyone has that that moment of just like, oh God, I'm never gonna have as good of an idea, or like I don't feel like I even have anything more to say, and then inevitably you do. You're just kind of hard on yourself.
Max is a psychopath, by the way. We could
shower
this for my last show. Or on the toilet. Shower I get. Toilet.
Shower I totally get. I'm not thinking about anything worthwhile on the toilet.
So last week we were talking about like psychopaths and how common it is to be a psychopath, and like basically if you're walking on the street, 1 out of every 10 people you walk by is actually a psychopath. And Max was like, it's me. So we had a good laugh about that. But I was like, I don't know. How long are you sitting on the toilet? Like, don't answer that question, Max. I don't want to know, please. But I get it. Sometimes you just have to have that quiet. I think that's what's my hard part, is that I'm constantly doing stuff. I have 2 kids. We just got a puppy. I'm taking people to school. I'm picking, you know what I mean? Like, huh?
I said, you poor woman. 2 kids.
Yeah, I'm busy, right? But that's, I think why I'm not writing more often is that I don't have that quiet time. But I think like when I take the dog for a walk, a lot of times I'm getting ideas where it's just me in the wilderness. You know what I mean? Like me on the path. Sometimes you just need it all to be quiet, and we don't get that. So. Yeah, or sometimes you need to be noisy. I don't know.
No, I mean, I love taking walks, and I love having my quiet time. That's actually one of the things I love about Chicago is I get to walk around a lot more. I get to go on the train and read books. There's a lot more time that I get just for me and just for thinking about stories.
Gotcha. Yeah, wait. Fantastic. No. Max says, check out Atrocity Press website for the first look at all things Atrocity Press. While you're there, buy a shirt or something. Here, everybody, here's a link for Max's Atrocity Press. Max is a lot like you, though. Like they cycle through stories And I always have awe for people like that because it's like right now I'm just trying to get my one story rolling, and you guys are all like, I have this title, and next we're doing this title, and next we're doing this title.
There's definitely benefits and drawbacks to both. Aside from just being incredibly busy, I also feel like I'm now speaking to like 3 or 4 different audiences as opposed to one, like, you know, one book that keeps building momentum. And you know, I definitely feel like I could. You know, we could have just done like Frankenstein the Unconquered and then maybe spun off a couple of series from there and just built one large audience instead of the way that we do it. But the way that we're doing it is working for us. So yeah, hopefully we will continue to be able to build that momentum regardless. But yeah, I'm just too impatient to like only build one story at a time. I see, you know, Cullen Bunn coming out with 3-4 books a month, and I'm like, what? Why? I've got the room poster. That is
the weirdest movie you will ever see.
It is. Oh God, it's so much fun. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it from here, but it's signed. He wrote on his forehead, it says, to Wells, may all your dreams come true. P.S. Be good.
That's amazing.
If you're wondering, is Tommy Wiseau an incredibly weird person? The answer is yes.
You've met him?
Yeah, no, he signed that.
I don't know if because you can get signed stuff on eBay. You know what I mean? But he signed it for you in person?
Yes, he signed it for me in person. We were at a midnight showing in Dallas, and he's very odd. I also got a signed version of a signed copy of the script, and I love that thing. When I feel bad about myself, I will go in and read until I start laughing. And it does not take very long. I don't even mean that in a mean way. It's just funny. It's just really funny the way it's written.
I've never seen how it's written, so that would be entertaining to read it. I've thought about that, and I think when we get to our trade paperback, I'll start putting some of my scripts into like some of the bonus material. I haven't released any of them yet, just because. But it's like if you've ever read screenplay, or you know what I mean, it's its own animal. And everybody writes a little differently, of course, but it's just like reading it sometimes is like, he said what? It was like in the background where it's like exterior morning, then they give you a description of like the first time you see the character, and it's like, he has a scar where? Like, we're never gonna see that. Why would you put that in there? Like some people are weird when they write scripts. Not me. I'm not weird. I'm not weird when I write scripts. I would be interested in reading that one because I'm sure it's funny.
It is both entirely too detailed and also completely devoid of
Max. No. Used to have a Return of the Living Dead poster, super cool, signed by Leanna Quigley, but it was destroyed by my first ex-wife. How many ex-wives you got, Max?
We're learning a lot about Max today.
I play D&D with Max on Fridays, so I don't get to ask him questions because he's running the game. So now it's like, come on my show and you show up in the chat, I can ask you questions. Let's find out. Oh, good times. Oh, we need one more backer, people. One. You have 2 ex-wives now, Max. What are you doing? You looking for a new ex-wife? It's always the plan?
My dad always said he was looking for ex-wife number 3.
Isn't 2 enough?
You would think. No, but he has not yet divorced his 3rd wife, so they seem to be doing pretty well. That's
good. All right, people, make me happy. If you play this, you know what? I will play you the Kickstarter dodge this video I made. I'll play it. I'll play it for you. I just need one more backer. One more backer here. I just wanted to see it roll to 350. And I'll play the dodge this for you guys. It's like, that's my interpretation of what going through a Kickstarter campaign is like. Did I play that for you last time, Wells?
I don't think so.
Oh, you have to see it. It's just a lot of fun, and it's definitely how we all feel. So one more backer, and I'll play the video, people. I'm watching it.
Me too. I'm always watching. Someone a little while ago, I was on the podcast, and someone was like, "How do you manage the stress? Like, how do you keep from like constantly refreshing the page? Like, is that a
You
problem
don't. You
for
just constantly refresh.
And I mean, when I tell you that I was tabbed over refreshing the page as he said that, and I was just like, after a little while, you just get used to it. I did not have the heart to be like, "Oh, I'm currently refreshing the page."
Well, I mean, like, I think for me, I refresh in the beginning. And then after like the first week, I think it slows down where I'm not constantly refreshing. I'm just doing it like maybe every couple hours. But my friend Carissa, who I've mentioned, she's just as bad as I am. So she'll be refreshing my stuff before I get to it. She'd be like, "Oh, you got a backer." I'm like, "I did." So it's always good to have. I don't need to refresh. I have Carissa. So. But here's a link, people. Go check out this. I want one more backer before we end the show. We got like 5 minutes. Let's go. Because we've already unlocked a ton of stretch goals. You get like so many good things just so you could do $1 and get a graphic novel from another creator as well. It's just really cool. So let's get that one more backer. And I will play the dodge this because it's funny. Max says, "After my second divorce, my dad said, 'You're not good at marriage. You should probably stop.'"
I, meanwhile, am the best at marriage.
Are you?
Proven? Yeah. No, I've been married for almost 3 years.
Woohoo!
Yeah, babe. You heard that right. I'm the best at marriage.
I'm not wearing my ring because it's been a long time, but we'll be celebrating 18 years this year.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm the best at marriage.
I legitimately thought you were like 26. Like,
I'll take it as a compliment. I'm a little older than that. I'm like, 29 okay. and I just decided to stay at 29.
Yeah. You just don't age past 29. That's fine.
Right. No, I have 2 kids, 9 and 6, and we're gonna be married for 18 years.
That's incredible. Yeah.
It's like it feels like 18, and it doesn't at the same time. It feels like 2 years, and then it feels like 100 years. It's just that's how marriage goes.
I can totally understand that.
I mean, yeah, if you've been married for longer than a year, you get it. It's a good time. All right, we need one. Come on. Please.
Someone out there.
Please. I'm going to do it myself.
This is exactly what it does actually feel like to run a Kickstarter. You're just like, even if you had a bunch of movement up to this point, you're just like, come on.
There's always those days where you're like,
do something.
Just what? I know, like poking the screen does it work. I'm going to play dodge this because it's so funny. Here we go.
Hold on. I think I'm bleeding. Am I bleeding? Ah! Nose and lips. Okay, ow. Can I? Ow! Wait! Ow! Please, Mr. Oh!
Okay, the fiver is way too real. The scam and the five, no.
Cancel.
Just back it already.
Oh, but I was like, when it hits in the crotch, it's like, that's the cancellation. We were like, come on.
Oh, for sure.
You're willing it to go forward and someone cancels and you're like, well, this is about it, right? Let's do it. Do it. Back to back. But that's it, isn't it? And I feel bad for you because it's just like, oh, and we're on to the next one.
Always.
Get hit in the face.
Yeah, luckily today I have kind of too much going on to worry too much, to like be refreshing the page too much. But it's always a struggle to maintain your sanity during these times. Luckily, at the very least, we're fully funded. I don't have to worry or obsess about that. We're in a really good place. So
yeah, at this time it's just cake, right? It's just stretch goals and bonus material and all that good stuff. So
stretch goals, promotion. Try to stay calm.
Right. Stay calm. I was
Plan
talking
for the
with
next one. Yeah.
what's that?
Plan for the next one.
Plan for the next one.
Yeah, I'm already on like, yeah, I talked to my designer yesterday and she was like, I'm ready to start the next one whenever you are. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Give me a day. Like, give me some time to catch back up and catch my breath. And,
Marco, my artist for my interiors, he was like, I'm bored. And I was like, start on the next one, dude. I was like, it's good. So he is. So it's like him and I had a meeting yesterday about interior pages for 4. It's like, all right, we'll just keep going. Because like I said, he and I always hit our deadlines, and like Matt's new. So he had to come in and he's getting, the book finished. But it's like, Marco was like, it's been 3 weeks. I need stuff to draw. And I'm like, okay. But it's like, he's going to get busy in the fall. His other books are picking up again. So I was like, you might as well do my pages. And then when I Kickstarter, you have plenty of time to do the other book. So he stays busy. But I feel you. It's just like, all right, what's coming up next? And it's like, I
will say the absolute best feeling is when an artist is like, hey, I'm just going to start on these pages. We got our sample pages done for Frankenstein the Unconquered.
Nice.
And my artist was just like, I'm gonna start thumbnailing the rest of this issue and the next one just so that it can be a smooth process when we finish. And I'm like, I have never enjoyed your company more than this exact moment.
I love hearing that. He's just like, I'm thumbnailing pages. I'm like, okay. Right? And I was like, you so excited. I love it.
Give me a drip feed of that every single time.
Oh, I feel you. All right, people, we're going to start wrapping up shop here. I really was hoping we could get one more backer, but dude, I'll just go back it myself when we're off the show. I'll get you 350. So we'll be at 350, 350 backers. This is an amazing number. I congratulate you on that. Going to 500, keep pushing. And I'm sure we'll see more of Wells because he's just not stopping.
I'll be around. I will be around. Don't worry.
He'll be back. We'll get to enjoy more Wells Thompson and his great pictures and books.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Remind people where they can find you. I put your website up there, but tell them what your socials are.
Absolutely. I am at Wells Thomp on Twitter and Blue Sky, which more going on to Blue Sky than Twitter lately, or X, because everything is awful now. But you can also find me at my website, wellsthompson.com. I have a sign up for my newsletter at Substack. Also, Comics, Cats, and Cocktails on Substack, where we talk about all of those things. We have behind-the-scenes pages. We've got cocktail recipes, and we've got pictures of foster cats. So tons of material to look over there. Other than that... you can. I'm almost, for about 6 months out of the year, I'm running a Kickstarter, so you can generally find me there. And you can find all of my work on Kickstarter as well. I do have a Ko-Fi as well, and some of my books are available on that too. Cool. So if you ever want to buy me a coffee, I won't stop you. Ko-Fi.com/Wells Thompson.
Very cool. Thank you, Wells, for coming on. And like I said, I'm sure we'll be seeing you again next time you get friend of the show.
Wonderful.
If for 3 times, then you are officially a friend of the show. The only other person that has that is Carissa. So congrats. You'll be the next one.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody said bye, Wells. Bye, Wells. I'll let you actually finish saying it. Go ahead.
I said, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. And I was like, click. Bye, Wells. Just a reminder, we're almost done. Here's the beautiful Big James, my new bobblehead with the FLOCK flock. And
bye, everybody else.
Click. And then, of course, the new edition. If you didn't see these in the beginning, this is the Dwayne Fink, which is going to one lucky person who backed that level. Everybody else can get a Dwayne Fink on next campaign that we're launching in the fall. All right, everybody. We'll see you all next week, and I'll talk to you soon. Be kind to each other. Bye.
Madness Entertainment Group presents the Madness Comic Network with original programming and additional comic-related content.
The Civil War was America's bloodiest conflict. Over 500,000 died to preserve national unity. When the war ended, Confederates like Harley Brogdon headed west, shooting game for the Army and gambling. When a card game turns deadly, Harley shoots in self-defense, killing the card sharp who threw down first. Wilfred Knorr, the card sharp's wealthy father, will stop at nothing to see Harley hang. Harley flees to Cobb's Gap, an old silver mining town at the foot of the Rockies. A remarkably peaceful town, especially after dark. But the sheriff harbors a dark secret, and no one dares go into the mines anymore. Cobb's Gap is full of secrets. People speak in hushed tones of something in the mine. Something worse than their cursed sheriff. Something even the Indians fear from the deepest pits of hell. Every secret will be exposed. Bronze Star. Order your copy at bronzestarcomic.com.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.